I really think that we should start writing.
Writing what, though?
We gotta get the script done, man.
We have plenty of ideas here. Look at this. This is a bad idea. Okay, bad example.
Listen, just take a few of these, staple them together. It's got to make some kind of sentence. That's at least a start.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. Where is your stapler? If we can staple some of these together.
It's in the thingy down there.
A lot of these are blank.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we sit around and discuss other people's work instead of doing our own. Now, you guys are probably recovering from our 1-2 punch of Sharksploitation. Shark Week's out of the way. We're pushing that aside. And this week, we are bringing something new to the table, which this one here was pretty goddamn excited about.
And he regrets it.
If you are of a certain ilk, which you probably are if you are watching this show, you know names like Tommy Wiseau, Neil Breen, and who's the guy behind the two Birdemics?
James Wynn.
James Wynn. James Wynn, Neil Breen, and Tommy Wiseau probably ring bells to you as part of this culture of...
Trifecta.
what I will call and discuss in this episode, a segment I like to call, Is It Andy Kaufmanism? Probably not, but I don't know how the fuck else to explain it.
I didn't ask you. Can we start this again? I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you.
So, intentionally, unintentionally bad, unintentionally great. Listen,
I get your confusion, but
Yeah.
here's how it's going to work. I'm going to pass it to this one who insisted on doing it for the synopsis, which doesn't need to be done, but it's just par for the course here on Jams. Then I'm going to state my main
synopsis
question
would imply there was some kind
about
Yes.
motive.
not understanding this. But basically what we have here this week is Matteo, through our beloved friend Alberto, we miss you if you're watching this, discovered who is essentially the Italian Neil Breen. Probably the closest comparison, because Tommy Wiseau has almost become kind of a
He
celebrity.
doesn't seem as weird though.
I'm sorry. What, let's
can't understand what he's
What
saying.
is this guy's name, Matteo?
His name is Enzo Sorrentino.
Enzo Sorrentino.
Yes.
Now, the best thing about this, which I find just comedic perfection, intentional or not, is the name of this week's movie. And Matteo told me this is not a translation thing. It apparently sounds the same in either language. The name of this movie is...
La Polizia Indaga il Crimine.
Which means, say it slowly so they get it.
The police investigate the crime.
The name of the movie is quite literally The Police Investigate the Crime.
Maybe it's the police and then subtitled Investigate the Crime.
No.
Listen, that's a level of comedic perfection that intentional or not just can't be topped. So listen, I'm going to shut up for a second. Matthew, synopsis is on you. If you want to do it,
second.
If you want to do it in 5 seconds, that's fine, because we need to get into the main philosophical argument, which is why do people do this and what is going on in their head? And I'll say my argument, deferring to Matthew, who was just kicked off of Survivor after the fire ceremony.
This film is the equivalent of someone wiping the lid of a dumpster and then shoving their fingers in your mouth and then asking you what it tastes like. I can't even answer that question because you're so offended someone stuck their fingers in a dumpster and then in your mouth that I don't even know how to even start talking about this, because in your case of trying to figure out what was his intention of the story, it just comes across as so fucking incompetent. You can't not...
Synopsis first. Then we'll get into the main philosophical question.
Our main character is
in 30 seconds or less.
Maria.
It is?
Sure. Who is the girlfriend of a mob boss who breaks
Don
up
Pepe.
Don Pepe, who breaks up with him to start dating a cop who we see once.
Yes.
They have dinner, lunch in a cafe.
No, we see him also in the hospital after she's grazed by the bullet.
Sure.
Yeah.
So she wants to go straight and get out of this crime world. So she starts dating this cop, and Don Pepe is
Sends a killer.
pissed.
Yes.
So he sends.
Don Pepe's pissed?
Probably.
He sends a
killer and
tries to kill her, but only grazes her. Then
stuff
she
happens.
gets arrested.
She gets arrested twice in
by
a
the
row.
police, and there's 3 police detectives that are investigating the crime.
Again, you already remember way more than
But and they had 2 undercover cops who are very cold.
If you say so.
Yes, the guys were cold.
Yeah. Wait.
why
Why
would-
did they wear ski?
Aha!
Also, I feel like I should interject quickly just to point out, Mateo, what is the running length of this movie?
It clocks at without the closing credits. It clocks at 38 minutes.
With closing credits?
Dude, that's like a Sons of Anarchy
closing
episode.
credits is
That's,
about 43, 44.
minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is...
Wait, we forgot a bunch of stuff.
Shit happens.
yes.
Things happen. The scene. It's like they have the same shot. They don't want to move the camera or even cut, so you're on the phone with someone. You don't even hang up. You go on the phone with another person, and in the same shot with the camera not even moving, people just appear and
Yes.
start talking about it. And there's like 20 fucking different cops, 30 different criminals.
Is this part of the synopsis?
Yes.
Everyone is on different sides trying to arrest someone for some reason.
And then there is a woman who gets raped.
No, almost raped.
Almost raped.
In Don Pepe's neighborhood, of all places.
Yes. They arrest Don Pepe, but he immediately gets replaced by Don Tommaso, or Thomas, as they say, twice.
At a fucking ice cream parlor like it's a fucking 5-year-old's birthday party.
Yes.
I have my daughter's birthday party here. You fellas that love this for our crime meeting.
Yes.
So then he gets some old fuck to perform the most awkward
Song ever.
One cut.
One cut.
At least compare this to Birdemic's hanging out with my family.
Yes.
At least you have them kind of dancing in front of it. I think there's a few cuts, but this is just
No, this is just
static
like-
shots. An old fuck
And-
who, in between his lyrics, is just
Yeah, he's waiting for. He doesn't know what to do.
No,
He barely knows what to do when he's singing, let alone in between.
I don't say this to be comedic, even if it makes you laugh. But the way he acts when he's not singing is like wait in this waiting room to find out while I check if your wife has tested positive for cancer. Like he looks the most pained, uncomfortable,
Yes.
just stoic. I'm not even trying to be funny. He's so like the lyrics are just like.
I mean, at least pull back.
do I
Have
put
the
this down?
people. You see the people's heads in front of him.
Right? Yes, exactly. Or do.
Okay. Is that?
I don't know.
This is-
And
People
now-
come in.
and
People
that-
break into the ice cream parlor.
At the end, they arrive. They shoot kind of to Dom Thomas.
And who's all the people in the cafe? Just the followers.
I don't know.
Dude,
They run away at the end.
Again, I'm sorry because you
There's
won't.
not even a clear ending.
No.
Who's the cop? Is that even one of the cops that kills him?
Sure. Yes. I don't know. They all look alike.
Dude, you won't get this reference, but like I said, quite literally, the scene at the end with the shooting reminds me of the early on in the Aqua Teen movie. The 2 agents show up, and they just start shooting, and it's one of those things where it's the gag of just like the endless repetition, but they just and they have it go on for like 30 seconds. That's literally what this scene is. They just shoot, and everyone is shooting at one another from like what 6 feet away.
Stand back!
Out of bullets.
listen,
wait,
we've
wait.
watched a lot of bad shit, and we make fun of it, and you try to dissect what their intention was, what they wanted to say, what they liked about cinema. But this, it's overtly offensive that this man, that you're this inept. Like, this is what a 10-year-old would do in 1991 with a VHS camcorder.
Yes.
And that's not being hyperbolic or it's just literally so painfully fucking bad that, once again, it pushes your point forward of would he do this intentionally to fuck with us?
Because there is the
The thing with the janitor!
Ispettore, hanno chiamato all'ospedale. La ragazza è fuori pericolo. Solo distruscio. Ha chiamato il collega all'ospedale. Sta facendo un buon lavoro, Michele. E lei cosa vuole?
The janitor is just in the background behind two cops. The one cop stops and is like, why is this guy coming? And the janitor walks behind him. The guy's like, what is he doing? And then just cuts.
And the other
then
cop,
next-
Is the dust around me? Is the dust around me?
the other cop is, the other cop says, "Who are you?" or "What do you want?" So,
All right.
What is it?
Listen,
Is it like fucking Lynchy and shit?
one more thing before we get into the
One
philosophical- I just want you. So you discovered this through our beloved Alberto. Give us just a little bit of background on the guy, the little bit that you know. You guys discovered him, and you found he has a whole YouTube deluge full of this.
yes, he has a
He's an FBI full-blooded Italian.
he is Italian.
Never heard that before. So.
You ever saw it? It's a beach T-shirt.
F-
Female body inspector.
Yes.
I'm in charge of pussy.
I'm the person in charge of pussy.
Vabbè, ma senti sta voce?
Ehi, voglio, la voce femmina. Ma vedi che succede? Muovete.
Oh, ma non è mia. Rombe, c'è una donna per terra.
Signora, che vi è successo?
Mi hanno picchiata, volevano violentarmi.
Okay, so Matteo. Enzo.
So
Matteo.
yes, he arrives. I don't know exactly how in the scene, but he has a very, very, very long. I don't know.
You gotta have balls to put this shit out in public.
He has a very. Next time, do it exactly. Pour it like this. He has a very long body of work. He has a lot of movies. There is one that is coming out this August. Yes, sir.
Does he make money?
Important question.
That is a
Important
wonderful question. I have absolutely no idea.
I'm glad you don't know, because if you had said yes, we'd have to get that suicide pact going right
Yes.
now.
I doubt it.
Is he? You know, we've
Retarded.
been something a little off. We've been referring to him as the Italian Neil Breen because of the content. Does you say he? And again, to my argument, you say he embraces all the negative attention. Has he kind of achieved a Breenish culty thing, or is it mostly just like
But it also embraces in one sense. Does he? How does he respond to the critiques?
He is.
Does he seem to
He seems.
understand
I mean,
it's not great.
I didn't take a dive into everything that is him in his past.
You wouldn't come back now.
But yeah, probably. But he seems. It's the idea. As long as you talk about me, I'm fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness a demonstration of the multi-million-pound mechanical marvel known as Titan the Robot.
Italy is a little different in terms of
hygiene.
Yes, and I don't know if it's a term or something, but the sarcastic appreciation of talent. Tommy Wiseau became Tommy Wiseau because people are genuinely making fun of him, having fun with that, and he is smart enough to understand it and to actually flip his original intent on its head and says, "Yes, I'm making. Yes, it's fun. I'm glad. It's the as long as you don't.
Not that fun. It's don't hurt anyone. I'm getting philosophical tingles. This
Yes.
is a good conversation for Jason, baby."
All right, let's wrap this up.
But for Italy, Italy is still a place where they watch Sharknado, and they say, how is it possible for them to make a movie like that?
Okay, so this ironic appreciation that we've just fucked balls deep here in America does not really take off.
But tongue-in-cheek's got to exist in camp, right? Or it's not understood or doesn't exist? Or it's not that popular?
It's not that popular, and sometimes it's not understood.
So they would never understand pleasure-hate watching this, if you will. Is that what you're saying?
It is a very, very narrow... I mean, Alberto, yes. Emiliano Alessandro, yes.
Because those men are cut above.
Yes, and are friends of ours. And yours that don't have them as friends. But there is a very, very, very narrow sliver of the audience who does that, who understands...
Or at least it's not as rampant as it is in America.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Man, Americans and their irony. Oh, hi, Benny.
Hey, Benny.
Oh, hi, Danny.
Oh, hi, Danny.
There is not a culture of B-movies in general. I mean, we make them, but a lot of people think they are sort of good, or they're seeing them still as movies more than something that you churn like this for making a buck. You remember the director of Troll 2 who says to the actors,
You never change. You were a dog and you are a dog.
That was nice.
He flies from Italy to Los Angeles and he says something like, my movie is screened everywhere and everybody loves it, and I'm going to go and see and try to understand what is going on. Because he genuinely, that's the thing, he who is in the industry doesn't understand that the sarcastic appreciation.
Why are people watching this?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I say, hey, people are watching that for real. So yeah, you know.
What I don't understand.
Well, I'm sorry. So how does he get to the dog quote?
Like, I don't remember.
I think he's trying to explain to him why they're watching, what they're laughing
at.
They
think it's shit.
Yes, pretty much. And so he said, you were a dog then, and you're a dog now.
Oh.
What I don't understand is how, if he's not editing this himself, or not editing in real time as he's filming,
yes,
how do you find an editor as fucking stupid and clueless as you? And once again, I'm not trying to be mean, because we know how... No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
No, that was the whole purpose of the show. To actually dice.
We know. We're not just trying to talk shit, and to tear down some dude who's having a blast making these.
Because we know how much that hurts.
And we know probably how much fun he's having and how much he's enjoying what he's.
You understand that your bad reviews hurt?
Doing.
You think we're trained for this shit? No way, man.
But what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What are you watching your cut? Is it just okay? The project's done. Okay.
Listen.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, because there is a lot of, at least in this movie, there is a lot of in-camera editing, as you see that they are standing still and they start walking as
but literally?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. And even the conversation, the 1-2-1-2, everything, I think that he does your line, then he moves the camera, he does his line, then he moves the camera again, he does your line, then he moves the camera. Because every single...
That's what I was going to ask you, but I didn't think someone would be...
Nope, because
you mean he's literally filming it in real time?
Pretty much. It's because...
Hold on, you say this line, then next in the movie we got to set up because you say this line.
Yes.
Then next this we got to set up because he...
Because every shot is different.
That's true.
So there is no reason whatsoever except for that. It's a theory, but I'm pretty sure that the images prove that.
Ti hanno visto con Donna Maria? Mia compagna e mia ex amante, e non mi ha fatto un buon lavoro perché vive e vegeta.
Alright, so you guys know how a lot of times in creative ventures they'll be talking about God, and they'll have God say to like the humans, if I were to come down in my true form, you simply wouldn't be able to handle it. I have to put on like, so that'll hold trope. I feel like my human brain, no joke, cannot fathom anything other than the Andy Kaufman aspect. And granted, Matteo knows this, one of our longest conversations, that Andy Kaufman kind of ruined my perspective on life.
It's matrixing, you know.
Because not only am I a huge fan, but I shit you not, I cannot understand. I can understand someone doing this and not having the Andy effect where it's like, I'm smart enough to know if I make it and engineer it this way, 3 guys like you will be like, oh my God, it's so funny, I'll get attention, I'll feed on that attention. If that is not what's happening, I swear to you, I cannot comprehend, as he said, again, no hate, even though it's fun to make fun of it. How does a human
As the
being...
venom spills out of our mouths...
We were collectively terrified over every shot, every cut, every edit. Do you remember the amount of times, like, what about Jason's delivery 1, Jason's delivery 2? What about what Bernardo says in this scene, this way or this way? Like, the amount of terror we had over every cut, every breath, every transition, every joke. We spent 6 minutes... we spent endless times on that 6-minute office scene because Matteo was so terrified. I want Matthew's main concern in the scene to be for Amy's safety, nothing else. So the
You're
amount
even
of
talking about character motivation, which we can't even fucking touch
That's what I'm saying.
yet, or
Think
at
about
all
the amount
possible.
By the way,
times-
I'm sorry.
Because
you made a movie.
Thank God you're alive.
Why wouldn't I be? I'm more worried about you after that interview. You called Diane a deaf bitch? Epic, but...
Isn't anybody gonna introduce me this lovely lady in love interest?
No, what? No, shut up, man.
Who is this?
He's a magician. And I'm Matthew's older brother.
Jason?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard a lot about you.
Nothing good, I hope.
That's about right.
the amount of time we spent on that 6-minute scene reshuffling it because Matteo was terrified in our little stupid low-budget movie that Matthew wouldn't come across as caring about Amy's danger before anything else. So I don't get it. How do you release it if you're not Andy Kaufmaning it? What is going on in a human being's mind where you are, and obviously all these guys, Tommy comes across, if nothing else, but passionate. This guy, from a little bit you've shown me, seems like a passionate goofball. Yes. James and Wynn, he seems passionate. He seems to have a love of Hitchcock. This is the main thing I want to discuss because there's so little. Obviously you could pick apart a million funny things in the movie, but what is happening? How does a human being explain it to me like I'm 3? I'm genuinely curious. What human being puts out
it's
something
like you
with
walk
this?
out of the house naked and smeared in shit, and how do you think that would be
oh,
acceptable?
Here comes the poop. Smear that on, then I walk
How
outside.
do you think that's acceptable coming into the office, into your place of work, not dressed, and your own shit smeared on your face? And oh, I didn't even realize that was there. How?
Ispettore, numero di targa.
Chiama la centrale e dagli il numero di targa.
Ok, chiamo subito, ispettore.
There's no explanation. You can't come up with one.
No, because the thing is that if
you're only Keyman, you're Italian. That's got to unlock something.
You have to make sense of this for us.
No, but
sorry, cut you off.
Sure.
Is anything lost in translation?
No.
Okay.
Because half of it, I had no idea what they were talking about.
The police investigate the crime. That was a Michael Mann movie, wasn't it?
Yes, I'm sure. And the star was the bookkeeper.
Sì, ho capito. Grazie. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Tutto in questa testa piccola, cosiddetta cassaforte cerebrale. Io, il ragioniere. Ho tutto il patrimonio di Don Tommaso, da qua non scappa niente. Nemmeno la polizia non me lo può aprire. Anche se mi arrestano non mi pento. Mai, mai e poi mai. Sono il ragioniere di Don Tommaso.
No, listen. Yes, we need to talk about every little stupid ass. But what I want to know, what you guys know where I stand. What is your thing on that? If these people aren't getting their Andy on, if you will, what the fuck is happening?
I don't think that there is an Andy aspect here because with Andy Kaufman there was a latent talent that eventually came out, and you realized that he was doing something. He was.
He eventually let you in. I know.
Yes, exactly.
Or at least hinted at it. You got that there was supposed to be a titillation. There was a master at work.
This one is going far too long for it to be just like something saying, "Aha!"
Has he been doing this since he was young?
I don't know. I guess he was born old. He looks like one of those guys.
I mean, that would help explain things.
Pit stop! Pit stop! Un attimo! Casco! Lo stesso! Pit stop!
Stiamo attenti, guardiamo sempre là. Andiamo a prendere a quei due e facciamo questo blitz e li prendiamo a tutti, va bene?
Va bene.
Andiamo.
Do you think possibly, like you were saying, is the answer deceptively simple, and it's like maybe this guy doesn't have the talent, but when he does this, he has a ball, and kind of like in the very first trial episode of Jams Ever with 3-beat slide, maybe we should shut the fuck up and the dad is just having fun with his kids? Like, is maybe the answer fun? Like, dude, I have fun. If you think it's shit, that's fine, but I have a blast. I put them out. If you watch it, I have fun. Sue me. This is life.
You can compare those two, but even if you take something like 3-beat slide, there is an artistry to it.
Well, there's a love. There's a family.
But even pushing that all aside, it's not completely devoid of, here's how you film, I can't believe I'm saying this, here's how you film something, here's how you make a song, here's how you edit it, here's how you make fun visuals. But there is more of a
I will say that the walk, 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 wiggle, the dissonance of the beat.
Tickle.
Walk, 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 tickle. What did I say?
Dickle?
Wiggle.
Did I say diggle?
Oh.
Dickle.
No, you say wiggle.
That one, the dissonance of the beat, even forget their vocals over, the dissonance of the beat. I will grant you that some of them seem like, it's summertime, we're just genuine and earnest. I get that, but the beat of walk, walk, tickle, whatever the fuck, I wish we could isolate it. Like,
walk,
burn, burn,
skip,
burn,
skip,
burn,
tickle. Oh,
yeah. Burn, 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 burn. So in that, do you know?
You really want to grab the fucking screen and just shake it.
Well, you know what's funny?
It's a Bobby McFerrin experiment.
On that exact note, one of my Andy biography books, every chapter starts with a quote. And forgive me, I don't remember who it was, but one of the opening quotes was, he would make you scream at the TV screen, "Is this a bit or not?" Which, again, like you say, with Andy, that's the brilliance. He's manipulating you to give a titillating experience. Are you fucking me not? But that's exactly what you said. Here's the interesting thing. The reason I become so obsessed with the Andy effect is that even if the person is not intending that, the effect is the same. So the funny thing is, even if the person is not intending it, the Kaufmanism still works, because similar to that guy said about Andy, you're left screaming, no, dude, just tell me. What are you doing? Are you fucking around? Is it a bit? Do you know? Do you not? So like the same weird manipulative titillation happens regardless of intent. And I think that's why I become so obsessed with it, because things like Tommy, maybe Tommy seems like he could be an Andy. He seems like he could be a weird genius savant who knows how to play it. But it doesn't matter if he is, because the effect of the room is the same as a Kaufman bit, where you're just giggling in disbelief or wondering or scratching your head. Like, it translates the same intent or not. That's what fascinates me so much.
It's a weird thing to compare, to take these four directors, and put them in a soup together, because if you think about The Room, it's, I mean, he had a crew, so I mean, it's competently shot, and the actors are doing their best. And with something like Neil Breen, you can see there's such a passionate horrifying message to put out there that he's
And
just
isn't
like,
that immoral?
Isn't that immoral?
he's just trembling as he's putting together his films.
Mixing with love for himself, because usually there is
Yes,
always him
and-
as a character, and that's it.
And with him, there's an extreme
and as a prophet
artistry, douchebaggy to Neil Breen, where he's like trying to make an art piece as opposed to trying to make a film. So you can kind of at least say, as much as his films are bad, there's a weird sense of abstractness to what you're watching. But this is just the bad parts of all these directors mashed together, because I mean, unless that's what he thinks he's doing, but it's just so confusingly edited.
It looks like a movie that they forgot to shoot half of it.
Why, if something is not intentional, then answer me this. We've just been obsessing over Clash of the College as featured on Best of the Worst, RLM. They start off that episode making sure people know all the weird freeze frames and cuts and edits are not done by them for comedic but left in. So what is this congruency where the same, like, how could, okay, Breen's editor is that incompetent, the guy who did Clash of the College editor is that incompetent, this Enzo's editor is that incompetent? How do all these people have the same, it's almost like the incompetent starter pack, because the type of weird freeze frames and multiple cuts is damn near flawlessly congruent with the way Clash of the Colleges is edited. So again, the mystery deepens further down the rabbit hole. Why do you have damn near copycat congruent editing ticks? Are you yeah! What is happening? It's almost the exact same editing, as if it's a style, as if like, oh, there's
because it's congruent with how you filmed it. Because you could do a lot with editing that you could at least be like, okay, you at least know how to cut the scene.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times they use the effects that are built in within the cameras. Inside the cameras, sometimes you can do the dissolve or the freeze frame.
But why nowadays?
Yes.
Even 20 years ago.
It's like being a negligent parent.
And it's also the fact that this dude, like you said, it's from Italy, a culture that's not rampant with making fun of bad movies. It's an older dude, and he seems genuinely jolly.
Yes, he is. He writes.
Point out the animal thing, to be fair.
A lot of jokes, and yes, one thing that it can't be. How can I say? You can't say anything bad about him because he is extremely passionate in dog rescue. He always his movies have a sponsorship from a local chain of supermarkets so that they give food for movies. He shoot a lot of movies inside those supermarkets.
He's just a nice guy.
And he is genuinely nice. And once again, from one side you may say, at least hats off that he has made more movies than us. Yes. Is an after effect of COVID, or just like, no, you were just no, but
I think he just vomited in his mouth.
Okay, yes, but at least he seems
in our defense, which I hate to say because I hate myself, we could make that if we
didn't use Emmy and Alley.
MaJaMa.
If we could spend an afternoon making this, we could make that.
Yeah, probably.
No, but yes and no, because again, our original plan with sharks was Mateo literally said, I got a $35 CGI shark program, enough with trying to beat down doors, fuck it if it's a low budget production, we're going to, we had the idea to do this, and yet I guarantee you in the editing, we wouldn't just say fuck it, it's just, no, if you care, it's not in you. And I'm not even saying he doesn't care, because like you say, it seems like he's passionate, like Tommy, like James.
But it would suggest he doesn't give a fuck, because it's inept to the point where you're like, why are you, no, go straight, walk straight, come towards me, like you're trying to fucking get a drunk person to walk towards you without falling off the fucking to the ground. But it's like, no, to me, to right here, you're fucking 1 foot away,
great metaphor.
walk towards me.
It's like trying to get a drunk person to walk towards you making these movies.
It's just you can't understand how bad it is.
Every sentence that we talk about deepens this mystery for me, and I feel like there's no answer, and I feel like no one's going to give a clear one. And that's the thing. I've always wanted to like point blank, and again, try to be respectful with it, yes, but like if we had him here, like what would he say if we just blatantly said, if Breen said, like we said, if Tommy said, the big old question, what if it was like, hey, do you know your movies are objectively bad and they're laughing? Would he be like, yeah, I know, maybe I don't know how to do it, but you know what, I have fun. Smile, shrug, and it's the end of the day.
Ha 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 ha!
Non ci prenderanno.
Hai ragione, ho la vita o la morte.
Cazzo, ci stanno sparando! Rispondiamo al fuoco, Ciro!
I literally feel sick. Like you're trying
it's
to...
It's offensive when you care about the art.
But I mean, he cares about... I'm sure he cares. I'm sure he cares very deeply.
I'm sure he thinks there was a message that this is the best that he can come up with, and I think that there is also, because I mean, let's be frank, people who think they have talent when they don't are exploited by a lot of reality shows like the American Idol and stuff like that. And you see that there are people who are genuinely going there thinking that they're great when they are not.
Yeah,
when they don't. Because as per usual, you don't have anybody who tells you this sucks. But everybody say, hey, that's great. I applaud people who are trying to make it somewhere where you don't have the access to schools or to classes or something, where you just try to learn by doing. But one of the most important things is having somebody who tells you, you know, what you just did sucks. Yes.
Everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know that.
Instead, if you have everybody who is saying, yeah, you're very good and it's fantastic and everything, then you start to say, oh, I'm a genius. I know what to do.
But I think at least a difference in terms of a delusional singer, it's different than at least a delusional singer, because you can always hear yourself differently in your own head. And even if you do, well, I guess you could tape or record yourself and listen back to it just to kind of pick it apart and see what you could be doing better.
Ma sento una creatura che ogni pure rindoscura pensando te la sta e non sia mai se ne accorge poi mia moglie sicuramente fuori a porta mia valigia va trovare.
But when you're editing something and you're watching it back, I mean, usually we watch the same fucking clip 100 times when we're making something. How can you not be like, this is not good?
Also, yes, there was also one thing that I can't believe I put these two together, Enzo Sorrentino and M. Night Shyamalan in the same discussion. But Shyamalan said about The Sixth Sense.
My saddest cut in the movie. I was so sad when I had to make this cut, and I fought it a long time because it was my favorite moment of writing. And it was such a wonderful bookend to the movie, and it was a sad thing. But and you know, they say to you in film school, you have to be ready to cut your favorite scene, and unfortunately, I had to cut my favorite scene.
In a movie like this,
everything stays.
Yes, I think that is exactly also that. It's just like because for instance, there is the shot of the couple in the second couple in the bar. Clearly they were friends of the director, because they have no purpose whatsoever to be there. They don't talk, they don't function over there. And the other
trying to relive trauma.
And the other couple doesn't do anything. So you say, okay, what's the purpose of having them if not to have friends? I'm reminded, and another name that I didn't expect to pull out in a discussion on this, but when Francis Ford Coppola did Godfather Part 3, curse you, Francis Ford Coppola, for ruining 1-2 movies great with a very weak third one.
That's all I've ever heard about 3.
Yes, but there was a scene shot in Sicily, and when they found out that the Godfather Part 3 was to be shot in Sicily, specifically in one theater, of Sicily. They started a race to be in that movie. Every extra in that scene pretty much is a mafia boss. Even if you see him briefly in the distance or something, it was an honor to be in a movie that was glorifying mafia. So had we dropped a bomb on that theater, sadly we would have lost Francis Ford Coppola, Sofia Coppola, Al Pacino, but we would have solved mafia for several decades.
Time travel.
We don't advise it. We would drop bombs anywhere. That this is going to be the underneath.
It's like Inglourious Bastards. Get 'em
Yes,
all in one
exactly. Yeah.
Something I thought was interesting here, because one of the things Matteo made me aware of in our endless friendship of movie teaching, ranting, obsession, blah, 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 how low-budget movies drop the ball by making the mistake of having wall-to-wall music on every scene. And it's something very interesting because I realize it more and more when we watch these bad movies now. And I think this is the absolute star example of that, because I can think of maybe 30 seconds out of 38 minutes, and again, I don't even say this jokingly, wall-to-wall music, and it really does. Again, I asked you, do you think
but that could be a choice on top of, there's very little dialogue.
Well,
very,
they
very,
get
very
nervous
little dialogue. But yes, in a lot of cases, but then again, if he's a fucking psychopath, he could be making some kind of artsy music video type thing where there's just all this music and there's no talking and there's just bizarre shots. Maybe in his head it's something different than a film. It's a piece of shit.
In a few of his movies, there is virtually no dialogue. The zombie one has 5 lines probably altogether.
We make a pact right now. We watch everything. We go for a deep dive. If we don't come back, we at least die together.
Okay, sounds good.
I feel like
that is also one of the things that we can say to our colossal dozen of English-speaking fans. You can watch these movies because there is a very limited dialogue. Probably because
it's all available on YouTube.
Yes, yeah. He has a channel, Enzo Sorrentino, and probably one of the reasons why there isn't that much dialogue is that they don't have equipment enough to film something outside. That there is very it's always bizarre, and there are sounds and noises and everything. I think there is a camera sound.
Pronto, Maria?
Anna, lo sai, mi sono innamorata di un poliziotto.
Davvero? Mi fa piacere.
Grazie, tesoro.
There's at least, again, it set the very low of the bar. What's the opposite of nadir and zenith? What's the lowest?
Zenith. Zenith and nadir.
Lowest.
Yes.
The nadir of gunshot sounds, of course, is forever sick too. So by that bar, I'm kind of impressed they at least had actual gunshots, even though some sounds they sounded like Christopher Nolan trailer drums.
Well, it's not the gun from Sick 2. But and speaking of guns,
I guess you have a point.
That's what I'm saying. That Sick 2 is so low with the gun sound that.
Well, because in Sick 2 they filmed.
It's like that.
Yeah, they filmed the sound of the prop gun. Here the guns never actually fire. Is only is the actors doing. Especially there is a guy who is amazing in the final shootout in the bar.
You know what?
Doing it looks like that has a ketchup bottle.
I just had a weird thought, but it seems to make sense.
Is it rated G or?
Friedberg and Setzer are, if nothing else, understandable.
Excuse me, are you ready to get your ass kicked?
Hell no, Kung Fu Panda. You shouldn't have done that.
Get ready to feel the thunder!
You watch those movies, and all of us know exactly why they're doing it. And again, to give a little bit of credit, I remember all the way back in New Jersey, which was probably around the time before we left, around date movie time. I think it was even a Nickelodeon thing, and they had them on, and they were like, so what was the inspiration behind you guys wanting to make this movie? And they were like, we wanted to make a movie that would make a whole bunch of money, and they laughed. And honestly, I respect the transparency, but the funny thing is, being stumped and scratching our heads over why he did this, the shit fest of Friedberg and Setzer, they were training naked guns. They figured it was made to make a quick buck. They wanted to stuff in as many cultural references as possible. Say what you want. It's gettable. It's understandable. Yeah. And I think we know exactly where they're coming from.
And somehow is competently done.
Yes.
Granted, they have a huge crew and money.
Yes. But still, they know how to, even if the joke is telegraphed a half an hour before, they know how to set it up. How to put where
maybe
to put the
3 or 4 throughout the movie land, to be fair. You know, I remember a handful, I at least chuckle at. So that's something that just popped in my mind. You completely get what they're doing. Again, we're just coming back to the same point, but what is going on?
Rispetto, so che ieri sera hanno ucciso altro uomo. E so che è stato il boss. Perché c'è un pentito che ha parlato.
Sì, lo so. Andiamo a prenderli. Il direttore si sta aspettando. E prendiamo questi sorvegliati speciali.
E allora aspetta, andiamo.
Andiamo. Se lo aspettano.
Va bene.
This is borderline. Hey guys, I have a new camera. Let's shoot a movie together this weekend. Let's improvise completely the whole thing, and they do it, which is completely acceptable. I mean, it's acceptable for everybody. But it's you can see it from the point of view of 15-year-old guys, the students or kids who are just like having fun with dad's new video camera or something. This it's somebody who say he must have seen a few movies. He know how they are.
That's the main thing. And once again, maybe he started, and even the argument as kids nowadays have the technology and access to editing software and cameras in their pockets that they can start making movies when they're 5 and just instantly catch on, as opposed to having to go to school later on in life.
The
and
back
actually
rooms that I showed you guys.
Have to,
I think they said it was like a 16-year-old kid, and then I wanted to kill myself.
Okay. What the hell? What the hell? Don't move.
Siamo pronti, ragazzi. Vi raccomando, quando entra, tutti alzati e in coro dite benvenuto, Don Thomas.
Benvenuto, Thomas!
Avete capito? Ok? Understand?
Again, I don't know what this guy's timeline is, and I know Tommy has strangely only done one. You think he would capitalize on more?
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck happened to Big Shark. Neighbors was a sitcom. But here's my question. If it's just, golly gee, we're just trying. Let's take Breen, who has at least, 7 movies deep?
Something like that.
One would hope, and again, this brings me back to my fucking Andy argument. One would hope if you're just simply bad and you do 7 movies, you improve, you build, you get better, you learn. I would hope to fucking, whatever you hold holy, that if we do MaJaMa movie number 2 for that blessed, that you see an improvement, but we try to build on the craft. I would hope that for any filmmaker. Even the most middling, meandering, mediocrity-infested filmmaker, don't you think after 7 you should kind of build? Hey, look at film number 1, look at film number 7. I kind of noticed a growth. Breen, it's like he understands what he's making, so keep the brand going. Hey,
he seems genuinely insane, though. Like, there's something fucking wrong with him.
Isn't that betraying the public's trust?
He seems somebody.
But if you try to do anything over and over again, you... Dude, how many times have you at work been like, I ring up my job, a cashier for 20 years. All of a sudden, without even trying, because I do it so damn much, I'm like, oh, zucchini, cucumber, this. I'm just flying with the codes. I didn't try to do that. I simply did it so often that eventually I was like 4062, 4011, 4050. I'm just like fucking fingers of fury with the produce codes. Unintentionally, I became better through repetition. How does that not happen? And again, Tommy's kind of a weird case. He's got one fucking project out. James Wynn, I don't know how many he had. That's what I'm saying. Take Breen, who's done like 7, 8.
But I think that's Breen's style.
Well, so I'm saying that brings it back to being a conscious choice.
And I think what Mateo was saying too, if you have your own in-house crew of whoever, you're going to kind of keep pumping out the same content.
Plus, clearly he's in love with himself. And
isn't that immoral?
Isn't that immoral?
And so,
plus, I think he's in your thing of narcissism. He sees himself as a savior, trying to get a message out there to
in almost every movie.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of like no, but it's kind of like the George Lucas syndrome in the latest the 1, 2, and 3 episode, that he wrote crap, but nobody dared to tell him kids don't care about the
Trade Federation.
Yeah, exactly. It's and even if they tell him, he can say, yeah, you know what, go find another job. I need people who tell me that I'm the greatest writer in the world and director.
You know, we're pushing the envelope in a few places, but the biggest issue is volume. Yeah, it's just the amount of stuff.
Yes.
And of course, that's the part that creates the world. Jar Jar is a key to all this. If we get Jar Jar working, because he's a funnier character than we've ever had in any of the movies before.
Well, I don't feel good. And I feel bad, once again, that we're tearing this dude apart who is trying to make something. You think, but as much as
I was talking about feeling bad.
What?
Well, I don't know. It's just very
like
offensive.
I said, the dude seems very excited to make things.
Yes.
And perhaps he just knows nothing about filmmaking or structuring it, but he has a passion for it, which is a lot of people.
And at least with all the... Well, there are two things, as you know. As soon as you put yourself out on YouTube or on any platform, you're open for criticism, no matter what. And hats off to him, because at least he tries to make movies. It's just like it's kind of like an Ed Wood situation. You say you might not have talent, discernible talent, or at least you haven't found yet how to channel it for, because and that is another thing. Even if he likes to say jokes, to do impressions and everything, the vast majority of his movies are serious.
Yes.
There are a couple of comedies. But the vast majority...
The guy gets hit in the nuts.
No, that's too sophisticated.
Okay, we're the whole joke.
I've seen some of his comedies that you say, okay. Plus, a great choice of laugh track. They were just like an homage to the silent era. He probably hates the silent era, but whatever.
That's why I think it's like his style almost, and I think it just comes down to him just not being technically adequate.
Yeah, and being surrounded by people who are equally not technically adequate.
Yeah, and we're just like, hey, just come on, do this part for me really quick.
You know what I've realized is that I think for damn near every human being on this planet, no matter how low budget you may think it is, I think I've learned through vicarious and personal experience both that there's something exciting about even being in a $5 your friend back of the yard, especially if you're not like out here, everyone's kind of jaded, they're trying to do out here, it's like a job, you're desperately trying to make it. But I feel like, kind of like you said, if you're in like Kansas and your buddy's like, do you want to come over? It's just a line or two, but be in this mid, like, you hear the word movie and you're like, what, me? So, and one of the most beautiful things, and the reason why I think The Disaster Artist, the movie, book was great too, worked, is the speech by the actress playing the grandmother.
Even the worst day on a movie set is better than the best day anywhere else.
And in that scene, I really thought the movie did a great job of summing up the beautiful passion that radiates at the core of people that want to do this. And so I think it's not even people who are afraid to tell him no. I think a lot of times when you get a normal person to say you want to be in a movie, there's a sense of like, I mean, look, I've done open mics where there was like literally 5 people, and even the people I came with were ignoring me.
One of them was me.
When you get off stage, it still feels different. Something inside still goes, you had a mic in your hand, you performed, and I go to work feeling different the next day. There's an infectious spirit no matter how low budget and shitty.
And plus, once again, as I told you, in the southern part of Italy, there is a lot of concept of honor, respect.
He threw that out the fucking window.
But being called to be in a movie is an honor. And being called to portray a big character, an important character, a boss or a cop, is an even bigger honor, because of course it means that I have also the look. Don Thomas, the bald guy, he
looks like the guy from the little guy from the Island of Dr. Moreau. Just kind of like stretched out with better skin.
Yes. And he also steals a line from Freddy Krueger.
Quasi tutti I miei figli, voglio.
You are all my children now.
But, you know, once again, he made them. He seems genuine in all his intents. Clearly, he puts them for free on YouTube, so it means that he's not making money out of that.
Does it make us douchebags for making an internet show making fun of this guy's art?
No, I think that one of the things that
we're douchebags for other reasons.
Yes, we're douchebags in general. I think that it's actually, we are opening doors, we're trying to at least. We're giving him just a little more popularity.
Yeah, I wish someone would do this about us.
And
Jesus Christ, like fucking trying to get cum from a blow-up doll, getting someone to review sharks online. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Every other fucking shark movie just
I think that we need more people like him, who are actually apparently genuine. They say, hey, I'm doing this. I don't care if I'm good, I'm bad, or anything else. I'll do it. And I'm trying not to upset anybody.
That's what I said to the ladies.
It's
Come on, it all works flawlessly.
It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue against that.
Plus, the fact that he is
Sorry, making myself laugh. Just funny. I might not be good or bad, but I'm just going to do it anyway and try not to upset anyone. All right, I'll lay here again. I don't think we talked enough about, I mean, I wanted to have this philosophical gangbang, but I don't think we talked enough about the weird little oddities.
I think to justify what we're saying, we need to just put the entire movie playing as we talk over it,
yes.
Like it's just like a commentary.
No, I think that the only thing that is worth mentioning it, because it's the most beautiful, is the attempt murder to Anna Maria.
this could not have been all in-camera editing. There's some
No,
stuff that could
there are
have
some
been done.
things. Yes.
So that begs the question that why wasn't other things done? why like if the whole thing was done on the camera, okay, sure, that's the best you can get. We've all made movies like that as a kid with our
No, there is not entirely camera editing, but like for instance the scene where there is that shootout in the middle of the field between the two cops and the...
There's like a fucking bush in between them, and they're using it for coverage.
Yes.
And there's like they're 5 feet apart.
Polizia, fermi tutti! Giù le armi!
They're using like a fucking twig as a partition to fucking block bullets flying out there.
Oh, and then the guy did the classic Looney Tunes hide behind the...
Yes,
the pole.
That's the other one. That's the raid of the police. The bush scene is where the bosom lady is coming down with the... Which it would be horrible if somebody would edit it with cartoon sound.
Those melons were just going in every direction.
Yes. Oh, not to mention the wonderful nightgown of Anna Maria, which is the most unfortunate nightgown.
Just a bad case of nipple chafing.
Yes, yes.
It is weird how you're right that those two red dots don't seem like the designer was like, they're not going to be in congruent places.
At the very least, make them symmetrical so it looks like a design.
Either that or don't do the background almost the skin color. Make it green or yellow or something so at least you say, okay, that's not...
But then it could be infected.
True.
And still none of this trumps the fact that the movie is legitimately called The Police Investigate
the Crime.
I mean, it's just...
Andy, now you know why my brain's fucked up.
Don't try that again. Don't try that again. I am a star, and next time I come here, I want you all to get down on your knees and bow down to me. And if I pass you by, kiss my feet.
Come on, yeah, okay,
you bunch of slimy hicks from Memphis, Tennessee. You hicks, go and plow the fields and the farms, you little hicks.
How could that not be Andy?
I get the split. Like, your brain's literally trying to rip itself apart. And just clinging on to either side for dear life, but it's just he does. I mean, we've all made mistakes, but this is like digging up a comic book you made when you were 5 years old on notebook paper.
It'd be a funny way. I was picturing you come up after the first screening and you're like, we've all made mistakes. We've all been there. We've all screwed up in life. Well, it's also, this is the perfect example of, and again, you always laugh, but I feel like you guys kind of did, like, hey, come into this world, me and we like watching shitty movies. A movie like this, and again, there are several levels.
A man like that, with a gun.
A man like that, with a gun? My God.
A movie like this makes you be like, look, I'm not saying everything's going to be good, but let's stop calling movies that are released by studios at $1 million budgets bad. Again, I don't want to say that like a movie like that can't be bad, but you know what I mean? There's a different level. Like, when people say bad movie, like, oh, that new Sandra Bullock movie was a piece of trash. Like, it probably didn't connect properly. Watch this. I feel like, again, it's adorable. I sit down and I watch these episodes with Mom, and you can tell that her mind...
Christ, man. That's the most
Yes, I'm the guy that watches my own episodes with my mom. But her mind is blown sometimes by even like something like TerrorVision, which is like a kick-ass, charming B movie with passion and production value. She was like, oh, what was the kid in this after therapy for filming? Like, why would they make this? Jesus Christ. Like, her brain can't even handle the fact that TerrorVision exists. Can you imagine when I watch this with her? Like, her brain's going to leak out of her ears. That's what I'm saying. Like, this almost makes, like, we can't call Geely to pull, like, a mainstream flop out of it. It's like a whole different level.
That's how you say it?
You thought it was giggly?
Jiggly.
It should be Jilly.
Hey, you want to turn that down? You fucking turn it down.
We are wrapping up.
Yes. And ironically, this episode will be probably longer than the movie itself.
That's not even a joke. We don't.
I don't think we even
don't do
talked about
half-hour
the movie.
episodes
It's just we
anymore.
talked about
No,
what
yes.
happened.
Not a lot to say. It's incomprehensible.
Because the movie is clearly an attempt to revive the classic genre of Italian movies from the 70s. That there were a lot of movies like The Police Shoot First or The Mafia Answers. There are a lot of
or
movies
knock,
like
knock,
that.
it's the Titty Man.
Yes. But done 20 years later, maybe 30 years later, and without
But
any
the title's
idea.
not even.
No.
It's just so blatant and.
I mean, honestly, I'm just wondering how
It's
in
a
the
placeholder
hell
that they forgot to remove.
Yeah, even as a placeholder, it's
working
terrible.
title.
Maria, non ti vedo più come una volta. Ma che è successo? Non ti ha trattato bene?
Peppe, lasciami stare, non ti amo più, lo vuoi capire?
I'm going to kick this off by voting, guys, because it's very easy, and I agree.
I feel like there's so much more to say, but I also feel like exhausted and feel like there's no reason to talk about it.
I think you'll feel better because when Mateo edits it, the conversation will be broken up by clips of it. I agree that there's probably a lot of little absurdities that we didn't get to, but they get the basic gist. All right, look, I'm going to kick this off. As much as I relate to not wanting to be dicks, and the whole spirit of the show was to analyze rather than just hate, at a certain point, if you care about the craft, and yes, good for you, man, I get it. Most people sit on their ass and don't do anything creative. I think all three of us have collectively 6,000 ideas that will forever be up here and never make it. Props for that, but this is just ungodly, a piece of shit, so we're going with the lowest of 5, because I can't not, and I don't say that with hate, it's just objectively, dude, what are you doing? You know, yeah, good for you, doing a movie. We're doing 5 at once in the basket, because how, you know.
Okay.
How?
How can?
Should I go?
Yeah.
All right. It's by the measure of a movie is terrible. I still have fun watching it, so I go with 3 because I consider. Right? Yes, because I consider it's still fun to watch. Especially because it's quick and everything, and also for his love of animals and
Mateo's
rescue
generous.
animals. So yes, I'm the softie.
He doesn't have any hate in his heart. Unless it comes to Russell Crowe.
Yes.
I'm gonna abstain.
No, it's not allowed. You tried to do that with fucking. You tried to do that with Tinterere. It's bullshit.
I didn't do it with Tinterere.
I forced you to vote. You were going to skip it. You threw a bunch of paper. Was it Tinterere?
I love Tinterere. All right. Well, I mean, the obvious is 5, but I will give him. Whatever. 5. For obvious reasons.
MaJaMa.
That is Enzo Sorrentino, guys. It's on YouTube if you want to see for yourself. It's quite an experience.
We'll put the name of the channel here.
Oh yeah, you can even put in the link of
If we put up our subtitled version, would that be wrong?
Wrong!
To inflict that on the world?
Oh, I'm sure he will be in contact with us, and I will ask him.
What?
Because I'm
coming here.
No, I'm planning to also put it on his page, on Facebook page, and if he answers me, I say, hey, can we post your movie with subtitles in English?
What is a tactful way to ask, are you a fucking retard?
MaJaMa.
We know how hard it is to make anything and to bury your soul and to put out there in any sort of project, whether it's comedy, horror, drama, whatever.
Yep.
Mario Bava.
Mario Bava.
Alexa.